Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Field of Glory Empires as Persia, um, where we're on the track to win. We got sort of given a quest to face and subdue the Greek. So really that's what's taking our time up. Legacy-wise, we're on the path to winning. I don't think anyone has any chance of catching up with us. I think we are making so much income at this point, we're kind of waiting for tripling Egypt at this point, which is actually something we're gonna do. We're gonna triple Egypt within like the next 30, 40 turns. Um, as our legacy from various sources goes up, in particular, I think culture-wise we're going up. We've got 2 regions with more than 15,000 culture. We've got 16 with more than 5,000, in addition to the previous 2. We got 83 addition to those ones with more than 1,000. So we're making 121 from regions alone. We're gonna get lucky if we can even get our government to like not be young at this point. We're kind of stuck in a young government. So we're never gonna get an even government. We don't actually have the most objectives. We have 13 versus the 14 that someone else does. We do have the most wonders. We've effectively acquired all the wonders that were on the map at game start. Saba, actually, interestingly enough, has 4 points from it, putting them number 2. I suppose that's one of the wonders down there. The Sabine Great Temple. Okay, so that's the... Interesting. I didn't know that was a national wonder. But yeah, that's where one of their legacies coming from. And they're getting legacy from something else, wonder-wise. Royal Tomb. Okay, there's another point. So mostly stuff it looks like it isn't going to be worth coming down, like stealing from our subject, but apparently one of our subjects is actually number 2. They're getting 4. Maybe I'm not very good at looking, because I'm only seeing 2, but supposedly they're getting 4. From Billings. Oh, there's the Marib Dam. Okay, this must be cultural buildings. These must be cultural buildings I don't, Maybe they start with these buildings. Because the building guide that I tend to read does not have the wonders that are on the map at the game start. So if they already got them at game start, then I wouldn't see them. Okay, so let's go through our territories pretty quickly so we can cycle the turn and advance our war plans. I should probably build stables here. So I have the stables, the caravan house, or probably going to pass on the watchtower, so let's grab stables. Caravan house is tempting also, but... Seed storage. Would be better if you had grain. You're not next to any place that's going to get grain, so we'll be passing that. Proof the port. Training ground, not a bad pickup. Move the preceptor house to a school. Regional road. Armenia has a build. Again, this doesn't affect the heavy cavalry, which is what we build here. And this actually costs us equipment, right? This makes sense if you're building infantry, heavy infantry in particular. It also makes sense if we had like lead and copper in the area, which we don't yet. Let's pick up the brickwork so they can potentially get a regional road going later. Looks like we have enough culture buildings. To be fishing for better ones. So we'll pass on the worship place. We're going to pass on you. Although, you know, that's probably good enough to be worth grabbing. The 0 slot. We'd probably want the walls, the palisades, instead of the weapons depot. We don't need the noble district here, so we're going to do a reroll. You got a growth. You're a mountain, so you're never going to be able to pave that road. Pick the watchtower. Make land expansion. Some of the culture people onto it to get done quicker. 2 turns is quick enough. 2 and 1. Die maker. We are in purple range, so that's good. We're mostly Iranian now. Although, do we have the ceramics bonus yet? We don't. So we could use the temple complex to get the ceramics bonus, so we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do the land expansion. I was trying to contemplate doing it or the cult site. And land expansion. Scriptorum. It has access to this tier 3 commerce, or tier 3 culture for the large warehouse. Go to the warehouse. We'll get some other culture building coming up again. Okay, it's fine. The infrastructure back to culture. Apparently don't have weapons to trade here. Let's grab the weapon depot. And the dam. 10 food, 15 health, that's pretty good. Okay, we don't need to move more people off of culture. All that good. You have an open building slot. Given the mayhem we had a little bit recently, it's a little bit tempting to grab the palisade. Yeah, let's grab the palisade, start fortifying a bit. With a wool mill. You know, sure, grab the wool mill. And we don't need that much infrastructure to get it done, obviously. We need... oh, no. Basically that amount. Okay, move on to the next place. This might be a way to help move ceramics around, so we'll do the temple here. We definitely don't need the Great Temple everywhere out here in the middle. But because it's next to one of the regional capitals, it'll be useful to have a major temple there. gambling ring, but the one above that. FT district. Open building slot out in the desert. We'll grab this old house because of the health bonus. And obviously that's still enough to complete that. More than enough to complete that, but yeah. 3 into 2. Can we get a 3? We're outside of frankincense range, not the usurer. Don't really need the stables. We're gonna do the reroll there. We're not out of... Oh no, we're out of papyrus range here too. Okay. Just reshuffle. We can reduce how much food we're making. We want like a surplus 30 in the province. Yeah, just about that in the province. Should guarantee feeding the army. Neighboring building gets extra food, so that's not a culturist. That's not a bad choice. The Delta. Ooh, commercial port. I like the trade range commercial ports when they come up. Granary, we got grain, so it's a good granary. Do you want to continue developing? Yeah, probably. Smokehouse. Forge is one way to import copper. Anyway, do the forge. Get the copper imported. And a regional lord. And the island's still doing the island things. Get on the infrastructure, get the food buildings going. And then you're going, well, then it'd be on to idols, which we don't have. And we already assigned the troops to their movements, so let's cycle a turn. We'll get across the Hellspont and start overrunning that location. V4 against the Palace Guards. The Palace Guards hold, but the rest of the line is going to collapse. Which kind of dooms the Palace Guards. Yep. Okay, so Egypt could attack us, but worst case scenario, we could detach the cavalry down to Egypt if they start causing a problem. Cases and trials. Buy some more slaves. And we'll increase the trade acumen. Okay, so we'll storm both those locations, taking that location over, and then we'll be thinking how we can get into probably Athens proper. You're laying siege, you're moving. Okay, so we got all three of the active infantry armies on the move. Ooh, commercial port. Done in a turn. Hope it's not there. Oh, we're getting presented with two great options. We got the paved roads and the tribunal, but trade range is always the bread and butter of I want it now. Plus, it's often on a zero slot building, so at least in the case of the roads, it's a zero slot building, so you always want to grab the zero slot buildings when they're so good. Although the tribunal is tempting in its own right. There we go. Paved road done in a turn. Decent Nakashima. Namachia. Do the much. That's fine. If we grab the anchorage, that would get us access to higher tier commerce buildings going forward. Noble Gardens, 80 culture. Not bad. Not quite enough to get the Noble Gardens done in a turn, but it's a start. We could probably do the loyalty bonus from the Noble District here. It wouldn't be too bad. Clear water. Yeah, let's do the clear water here. We had tools? Yes, we don't, so no. You don't need the weapons depot, especially if it's not providing any equipment. So I'll do a reshuffle there. Marine frankincense range? Or, no, you're not the one that imports it. Surprised we haven't gotten rid of the dense scrubs yet. You know what, grab wells. Wells are not too bad. Sometimes you don't upgrade them because you don't need the papyrus, and they don't run enough food. Tower. Yeah, might as well upgrade the second estate. Yeah, we'll take the zero slot upgrade. It's not a very good exchange, but at least it's a positive exchange. We're getting more infrastructure for less money. going to bite the bullet here, build the tannery. That means we can be rolling for the paved road. Tribunal. We don't have the perfumes in trade range. Could do the shipyard. This wouldn't be a terrible place to get access to better ships. And we can free up about 200 infrastructure to swap back to culture making. Yeah. Couple open building slots there. A little tempted to grab the fortune teller, but no, we'll do a reroll. We're not in a rush to get to the tier 3. And that would be the reason to do the fortune teller in that situation. It would be the last one for the last one to get up to tier 3. Nuts and dates, and there's a way to figs in. It's not too bad, although this is out in the desert where we've got Malice from the No Oasis. Let's get the wall upgrade instead. So an increased birth rate has been observed. So we've got 2 populations out of 1 on the pop growth. Alright, so we'll finish in turn. Okay. This is the place where we probably do want a palisade. Move a little bit more food off of, or a little bit more people off of food and onto making infrastructure. While still keeping the food around to feed the army. I haven't got rid of the snakes yet. So it's technically it's venomous beasts, it's not snakes. That's a little worrying. That does mean the next time we get a building slot here, we should be really looking for a loyalty building. I'm pretty sure we don't have easy access to coral here. It's away from the boat. Yeah, there's no coral in the Caspian Sea, which is expected, right? We got coral down there, but that's a little far to try transporting coral up. Again, there's no coral on the Black Sea either. Right, so it's across the Mediterranean mostly. So, because I've built the cult site, it does potentially make sense to upgrade it to a temple. So to the Haslan Temple. Because we could technically get the Haslan Temple there, it's coastal, but no coral to import, it's a bit meh. Watchtower to guard the border. Improve the port. Decent market. And dyes and cloth in this area is not too hard to get. So making it a better market wouldn't be too hard. And then that's a good granary. Good enough I'm going to do it over the salt house. Copperworks. I think we've already built a forge next door. Yeah. Although, there's maybe nothing stopping from importing copper to multiple places. We do make money, in theory, off of moving our copper around. Probably be ours from the cyanide. Of course, it's less of a rush to do that. We'll do this house because we're not getting any bonuses off of it. I think this is a region where we build provincial archers. Yeah. Crafting district. Getting better. You're still looking fine. And we've been all the way around. Any independents I need to be checking? Nope. So you got tree borders, those got tree borders. Okay, let's cycle the turn. Oh, nomadic independence. The garrison and the local friendlies are helping out, so by the power of teamwork, we're going to win this battle, I suspect. 8v4, heavy provincial infantry, yeah. Oh no, that's the that's actually the neighbors. It's the allied neighbors. Okay. So it looks like our forces are actually providing support to them, helping to defend us, which is great. Hellenic independence. 31 versus 12. So, might have been 11. 95, 95. Here we go. So that should be a victory. Provincial, palatial guard on the first batch rolled terribly. There we go. One enemy destroyed. Oh, Egypt did declare on us. Okay. Okay, we don't have time to get rid of those venomous beasts. We'll have to move the cavalry over in preparation to deal with any Egyptian forces we see. Truskai have rejected our offer to have a white peace. we'll just propose that again. 43% chance this time. And these are now officially ours because the nation that previously held them has been completely destroyed. They should calm down reasonably quickly. Yeah, so a little bit of an issue with the Egyptians, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. Furs Emporium. I don't know what to do to move furs around offhand. Yes, we'll probably build the Furs Emporium here. This building, okay, it's going to take up a building slot, but it's basically cost neutral just being where it is. So even if we can't move the furs around, we'll have furs. We'll have a fur building, and it'll give us an idea of whether or not we can actually move it around. With needs. I haven't seen a lot of buildings that need needs, but maybe I'm not just pushing for them. $15 money. This isn't super good. If we want to go up the pleasure house line, we'll need perfume to move around anyway, so we'll pick it up. Plus to generate perfume, or buildings that use perfume in the east. Grab the tool maker. You provide more equipment. You provide a decent amount of equipment too. So we'll grab the siege workshop. Again, this is one of the provinces where I want a lot of capacity to equip troops. We don't need to improve the harbor on the little inland lake. We'll improve the walls. We do probably want to do the one on... Is this the Red Sea? I forget which one of these bays is which. But yeah, we probably do want to improve the capacity to build boats on the larger oceans. Again, one of the larger oceans, so we'll build a major harbor there. Granted, I think the canal system is only food positive because we're making food. Yeah. Take them off of food, it's not food positive. Although, if we get like the plantation and stuff, it probably will be. That's maybe not a reason. That's maybe a reason not to rush into it, right? Don't need the circus yet. Actually, grab me the wheelmaker. And we can make that a regional road. commercial port. Do the reroll here. Palisades is not bad for a border province. Upgrade the courthouse. The new island probably does want the public works. Probably wants all the things we can build it. Okay, upping the gambling arena isn't generating us any money, so we'll pass on that. Doesn't currently have the bonus from tools, although when we get tools in range, the Builders Guild will automatically import them, so we'll build that up. That'll definitely in the future be worth it. The debate right now is it worth it now? And that's a bit more debatable. Oh, we're getting the granary bonus from the grain, so let's grab that. Oops. One on infrastructure. Vassalin Temple would definitely be the way to go if we weren't still trying to convert everyone. We are. We don't have glass in the area. We'll probably want glass at some point. Grab the glass. Okay, the granary went down a turn. Glassworks is pretty expensive, so it won't. Think or cold site. We're over 50%. Well, we're at 50% Iranian, so we'll probably go the bank instead. Brickworks. Builders Hall. Let's build the bank. This will give us our 6 commerce building, which allows us to pave the road, provide us access to some of the nicer buildings. We're technically at a range on gold here, which is why the bank doesn't look super good, because we're technically paying triple price for the gold. But it's 30 money because we just have so many commerce-making buildings that it's worth it. And then the paved road / commercial ports and stuff like that might help get the range where we actually do import the gold. Wait, no, in theory we have gold. Why? It's saying trading required, but yet we have the gold bonus. So one of the neighboring provinces probably has gold being imported and is able to import it. Okay. Talked myself into why that makes sense. But yeah, if we get the regional road, they get the paved road in there, and maybe the commercial port. Well, that's inland. Okay, so if we get the regional road in there, might get enough trade range where it will port its own gold. Okay. You're also removed by Herbalist, so we're just rolling probability there, and as is sometimes the case, probability can sometimes not like you. Okay, we definitely don't need the food here if the army's moving away. Let's move it on to infrastructure. Temple's gonna be done. Delta's got stuff to build. Delta region right now, given the circumstances, is not a bad idea to actually fortify, seeing as we're at war with Egypt, and don't really want to divert any armies to help defend Egypt. Don't want to defend Egypt from Egypt, that's the problem, yes. The military store. It says I can raise another army down near Egypt. Too hard to do. Okay, so we can just like that go like, yep, we're gonna have an entire front line of troops ready. Oh, I gotta remember the provincial out here. I think it's actually the bow, right? Quatra or Quinquirimus. It's like Quint. Don't know if that's the 4 or the 5 layered trireme. And obviously it's not a trireme because it's got more than 4 layers, but it's got more than 3 layers. I think that's the 5 layered one, not the quatrireme. Quintereme. But yeah. So we're gonna build some archers to go with that. Here we can grab some cavalry. Is the nomad better? 2, 2, 5, or 3. No, the armored cav, our national one, is better. Although the nomad's probably better for light cav work. So going behind the cavalry. Okay, so we'll merge those 3 up into a proper army, assuming they don't get jumped by the Egyptians before they merge. And that and the cavalry should be able to deal with Egypt. We'll probably raid Egypt mostly for legacy. Yeah, we got that movement signed. We got that move assigned. Let's keep building the provinces. You're growing. Land reclamation. Improve the wall. Do things that gain more siege resist so the places hold out a little bit better. Although garrison is usually better than siege resist for making them hold out longer. So this anchorage here would help with making sure that place is not starving in case it is sieged. Probably when the granary's done, we'll probably try to swap some of the guys back to food. But until then, we keep cycling through places. You're done. Do we have any idols? Probably. Nope. Okay, let's cycle the turn. Let's see how the troops move about. And then, yeah, from a legacy standpoint, we are definitely in first. You know, at the end of the next cycle, instead of running the turn, we'll probably do a little bit of math, get an estimate of when the legacy should technically hit the sudden death rule. And then we'll probably save and end the stream. Okay, so the fleet hits the Argos fleet. It's a small fleet, so we're not going to watch that battle. 17 versus 1. There be the Egyptian army, or there be a Egyptian army. Did they really just straight up try to storm us? Yeah, I think they literally just try to take us by storm, which is not a smart plan. Strongly fortified region getting assaulted? Yeah. Okay, took the rest of those islands. They've reached a proposal for peace. You want to relinquish an objective and just call it good. Counter proposal. As a way to peace, give me your capital. There's an 18% chance they just give me their capital. That is actually our quest objective, is to take the capital. So we're just going to propose that. If they give us their capital, I'm going to be chuckling, but they probably won't. Actually, diplomacy-wise, let me modify that. We do, you know, occupy some things. I probably don't want to give them back. Okay, cancel the proposal. We want it to be a little bit better than just giving their capital. We want the 3 islands as well. And they're not quite there yet for that. Okay, so there's an Egyptian army there. Besieging our... I was about to say besieging archers, but apparently not. Okay, if our merger up here doesn't get intercepted, that'll be good. We got the cavalry should run down the Egyptian army, run them back to the border, or something like that. We've got various attempts at naval landings going on. So you're doing that movement. Yeah, arguably we probably want that one to reinforce like so. You're gonna land, you're gonna lay siege. The garrison here, granted. Yeah, the garrison here is just not up to the task, I think, of stopping us. Because they're only gonna have a tiny little palisade. So we probably just try to take that by storm. Land and assault the place. Best not to leave defensive fortifications in our rear as we advance. Okay, so let's quickly go through our territories. We got 4 things to build in the capital. Probably because the capital's been being handed all the slaves. Noble district for the loyalty is probably a good choice. Because we're starting to have loyalty problems in the capital. And Tier 2 plus buildings like the Noble District at least provide more than 8 loyalty per building, which offsets the building slot cost of having a person. Actually, we wanted one guy on food. At some point, we're going to have to figure out how to get more food in the capital. Probably by buildings with food buildings. One open slot. Granary's tempting, although this is not going to be one of the ones next to the actual place that makes grain. The Canniversary. I don't need the loyalty that bad, but that's a profitable building, so we'll just build it. It also probably costs a lot of infrastructure, so we probably do need to convert like that much into it. Only trade a little bit off to make culture. Reserves, we don't quite make enough infrastructure here to swap everyone off. Yeah. Glass. We got the other bonuses. It doesn't have any decadence problems. I probably do have places making glass nearby. Literally next door. What? Okay. So lots of places use it as a bonus. Nothing needs it, so there's no way to move glass around. Although at this point, we've got glass in so many neighboring places that I probably shouldn't build a glass maker there. Probably shouldn't build it there. We've got probably other better choices to build, like the precept house. Realizing it's sandwiched between two other places that have glass. Noble Gardens? Commercial port. Lots of building slots up here. Yeah, look at clear water. Land reclamation. And this is a place where the irrigation system is food positive, even with no one making food. So that's just a good place to build it. The Noble Gardens is also tempting. Crafting district's tempting, but no, we're going to the irrigation system. Which, to be fair, all the places I'm saying, except for the Noble Gardens here, are technically 0 slots there. We're just going to get a roll a different one again. So, for example, the large warehouse is very likely to come back up again. Like a 1 in 4. That choice to come up again. Nope, we're gonna do a roll here. Don't like any of those choices. We don't want a siege workshop here. Okay, so we're going to be building the military up real fast on this island. We have glassworks being built. We can let it finish building. It's a decent ceramics one, and will help with 2 nearby structures producing more culture. Okay. Another build slot there. Expand the wall. Brickworks. And we're not going to build cavalry up here. Do a little bit of loyalty, so we'll take the noble district. Not a particularly good noble district, but well, they can't all be special. Every once in a while you get a okay one. You're moved by worship place. Or by an army that's just been there forever. We'll build up the wall. Expand the wall because we're at war in the area. Build a palisade because we're at war with the area. Fortify a region that is threatened by the enemy. It sounds like a perfectly reasonable thing to do, I think. Expand the wall. Let's try to do a little bit better job than the Egyptians at defending the area than the Egyptians. Seeing as it's not originally ours, we'd like to keep it, so we should probably do a little bit better job than the previous people defending it. We removed our armor. That's not an armor, we'll put a palisade up. In case we get a revolt and have to send guys over to take it back. Well, relieve the siege, I suppose, in this area if we have a wall set up. Okay, that's those. We check the idols. No idols. So in theory, we've got everything assigned for the turn here. I'm not going to go ahead and do the end turn. We're going to leave that for the next stream. Report-wise, we do have subdued Greece. We've got 23 turns to take over both Atticus and Laconia. We'll see if we can do that in 23 turns. In theory, we should be able to do it because we can already sort of try to negotiate for Atticus's Athens' capital. We haven't been fighting the Spartans quite so hard, so I doubt the Spartans are just going to be like, hey, give me your capital, and they'd agree, but yeah. The Spartans are definitely not at the point where, like, they'll give us a capital. But when we're done with Athens, we can focus on Sparta. The Etruscans are apparently having a bad day. Oh, and I always have... Every time that one comes off a cooldown, I just redo it again, so they might agree this time. So yeah, we're trying to get to be less at war. we're down to 1, 2, 3, 6 wars because Egypt's back at war with us. Although the Athens, well, the Egypt one hasn't been going on long enough to be a war that we're winning or losing. Legacy-wise, we're definitely on the process of winning here. If for no other reason than just the raw number of provinces we have. Although we're getting 10 times the next closest in legacy from legacy producing buildings. So we got the wonders, we got the provinces. I think the ratio, I think we got a few more in the 500 or 5,000 culture band. So I think we're even getting even more from territory. Anyway, Egypt, which is the closest to us, is only making 2. So we'll do the little bit of math and see roughly when we expecting to win. Sudden death rolls on, which is, so we've needed triple Egypt's score. So that means we need about 5,744 more than the Egyptians are making. So we can then divide by like 179. So we should win, if the sudden death is actually working, we should win in about 32, 33 turns. Or, depending on how things go with Egypt, we might negotiate for Egypt to hand some more legacy over, which will speed that up. But that's where we are in this game. Some of the modifiers that we've got from the scenario are specifically making it really easy to say high in the culture to decans ratio. We have Archimedes Imperialism here, which reduces decans gain by 65%. Granted, at the cost of any token chance being reduced by 40%, so it's really hard for us to get progress tokens. But we're basically permanently in the progressing tier. Especially when you combine that with Virtuous Administration. Which you can see is reducing decans gain by another 20%. It's reducing the administrative burden by 50%. So if it looks like we're making lots of money, we are, but that's because we've got 50% off the administrative burden. Although, right now, the administrative burden gets bigger the bigger the store of money. Because you have to spend more money like guarding your money sort of going on. So we're still making money. If we didn't have that modifier, we would not be making money. Right, that's the difference here, is we're making money because we have this. Didn't have this modifier, we'd be losing money. Although I suspect we'd be making enough money that we just have a lower treasury, right? Our treasury is massively overflowing because we have basically reduced administrative upkeep. But yeah, that's helping. It's also providing an infrastructure bonus, so we'd have infrastructure problems in various places, potentially, if we didn't have that. Apparently we have some medium war wariness, which is reducing our income. Okay, so some trade-offs. Not everything's going our way. Got some new ornamental styles. But yeah, so this run's been going well. Culture decans ratio, of course, is just absurd. We're almost sitting at 12. But again, that's because we have modifiers. Okay, one of them's a cultural one that we'll just hold on to for the entire game, but we still have that Virtuous Administration modifier. When this goes away, it's going to be much harder to keep it so extreme. Yeah, because national modifiers is minus 2,305. I think that's the 20% there. So yeah, this ratio gets a lot worse real quickly if we ever lose that modifier. And we have in the past lost it before, right? So when you lose it, that's a problem. As Persia, if you haven't lost it, you're pretty stable. Our HCV. I think that's like the... I don't know what the H stands for. I think it's something like the cultural value. Might be happiness cultural value, happiness adjusted cultural value, or something like So we dropped a little bit in that stat recently, but we're still pretty high. Our decadence went up, which is not good, and that would mean that the ratio is worsened. Although our ratio is twice the next guy, so we're not too worried for a while. And as you can kind of see in here, as long as you're like around 2 culture to decadence, you'll usually be in the progressing tier. In fact, in this one, you can be almost 1 and still be pretty close to the progressing tier. And then you don't want to drop below like half, because you'll be permanently in the declining tier. But yeah, we're on the route to winning. If this scenario does have sudden death as a potential win vector, we should win the scenario, I think, about 60 turns early. If not, we'll have 60 extra turns to run up the score. We're definitely in the process of winning. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow, because we'll probably get around to recording it, unless something comes up, and stuff has come up in the recent past, so that could possibly on people's minds. If you're watching on Twitch, tomorrow's stream will be Terra Invicta. The day after that will be Shadow Empires, and then the day after that will be the return of this. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, all of that would have been recorded in the past. By more than 2 days, probably, at this point. Trying to record a little bit ahead, so that I have some content to go up over the family vacation. Because I'll be away from the desktop and basically be away from being able to record. So yeah, also I believe now content stays up on Twitch for 14 days instead of 7. So if you're watching on YouTube, that should all be up on Twitch. So if you can't wait till tomorrow's part, you can probably sneak over to Twitch and watch some of that stuff, because it should all be up, still up on Twitch. Although if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably getting a slightly better video quality, because you're getting guaranteed 1080p at 60 frames per second. Whereas Twitch gets whatever the local internet can support. Because I'm recording locally and uploading to the internet isn't always collaborating with that process. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now.